At the end of the topic, you will be able to trace the reason for the setting up of the Constituent Assembly, point out the members of the drafting committee, highlight the salient features of the Indian Constitution, explain the meaning of Preamble, understand the popular sovereignty of India, examine secularism as one of the national goals of India, describe the Indian parliamentary form of government. The 200-year-old British rule ended on 15th August 1947. Political authority was transferred to the Indian people. A drafting committee was set up to draft the Constitution for India as recommended by the Constitution Assembly.
In this chapter, we are going to learn about the Constitution. Do you know what is meant by a constitution? Constitution is a legal document containing the basic laws that define the powers and functions of the government. Every country needs a constitution. The constitution helps the government to function in a systematic way. An assembly known as the Constituent Assembly was set up in the year 1946. It had 292 members who were elected by the provincial legislative assemblies. Some of the important members were Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Dr. K. M. Munshi, Dr. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, Baldev Singh, Dr. Ambedkar, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, Sri Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, Srimati Sarojini Naidu, Dr. Vijayalakshmi Pandit, and others. The Constituent Assembly studied the constitution of different countries before preparing the constitution for our country. It took 3 years for the Constituent Assembly to prepare the constitution, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as its president. For drafting the constitution, a committee was formed with 8 members. The chairman of the committee was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The draft constitution was prepared in February 1948. The draft constitution was approved on November 26, 1949. The draft constitution came into force on the 26th of January 1950. We celebrate 26th of January as a Republic Day every year because our country became a sovereign democratic republic on that day.
Salient features of the Indian Constitution. Some of the salient features of the Indian Constitution are Preamble, the popular sovereignty, secularism, parliamentary democratic government, fundamental rights and duties, directive principles of the state policy, universal adult franchise. The Preamble. The Preamble is the introduction to the Constitution. The Constitution is formed for the people of India and is empowered by the people of India. It declares India as a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. The objectives of the Constitution are justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. The popular sovereignty. The Constitution gives total authority to the people. Even the governments, the centre and the state, derive their authority from the people of India through elections. The members of the Parliament and state legislature are elected by the people. The members of the executive are responsible to the legislature and then to the people. People's authority is known as popular sovereignty. Secularism. One of the national goals of India is secularism. In a secular state, there is no discrimination based on religion. Freedom of worship exists in India. Indian government does not have any official religion. It supports all religions. Parliamentary form of government. The Constitution of India is designed to provide a parliamentary form of government. The executive members are responsible to the legislature. This type of government is also called as responsible government or cabinet government. In this topic, you have learnt, after independence, a Constituent Assembly was set up to draft the Constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. The Constitution was inaugurated on 26 January 1950. Secularism, fundamental rights, and universal adult franchise are some salient features of the Constitution. The Constitution provides a parliamentary form of government. At the end of the topic, you will be able to Define the fundamental rights. Describe the various fundamental rights of our Constitution. Explain the aim of the directive principles of state policy. Write the meaning of universal adult franchise. Point out the fundamental duties of our Constitution.
We have discussed in detail about our Constitution and its legal matters. Do you know there are certain fundamental rights for each and every citizen of India? We shall now discuss our fundamental rights. What is meant by fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are given to every citizen of India by our Constitution. The Constitution considered the fundamental rights as the basic rights of every human being necessary in a democratic society. Do you know something? Even the government cannot ignore these rights. Why? Because these rights are safeguarded through courts of law. So keep in mind that every citizen has got right to enjoy the fundamental rights. The Indian Constitution has guaranteed its citizens 6 fundamental rights. They are the right to equality, the right to freedom, the right against exploitation, the right to freedom of religion, the right to education and culture, the right to constitutional remedies. The right to property was first included as the fundamental right and then removed because it was considered to be a legal right and not a fundamental right. The 44th Amendment rectified this right to the citizens.
Directive principles of state policy. Direction to the state to make policies or laws is given by the Constitution. The goal is to establish a welfare state in our country. Directive principles are divided into 4 categories. Socialist principles such as livelihood for all citizens, equal pay for work for men and women, etc. Gandhian principles are organization of village panchayats. Gandhian principles are organization of village panchayats, promotion of cottage industries, promotion of educational and economic status of the weaker section of the society such as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, etc. International principles means to maintain international peace and security. Miscellaneous principles are equal justice, free legal aids, uniform civil code for all citizens throughout the world, etc. Universal adult franchise. India adheres to universal adult franchise. All citizens above the age of 18 are eligible to vote irrespective of color, caste, creed, religion, sex, literacy, and wealth. Fundamental duties. Fundamental duties are to be performed by all citizens of India. Its aim is to empower every citizen and bring about equality. The fundamental duties: to respect the national flag and national anthem and to obey the Constitution, to cherish the noble ideas of our national struggle, to protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to render national services and to defend the country when necessary, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood and harmony, to enrich the rich heritage of our culture, to preserve and protect our natural resources, to develop scientific temper, humanism and a spirit of enquiry, to protect public property and avoid violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres, to provide education to children between the age of 6 to 14 years. In this topic, you have learnt the fundamental rights guarantee equality and protects all citizens. Fundamental rights are classified into 6 categories. Direction principles gives direction to the state to form laws or policies. All citizens above the age of 18 are eligible to vote. Fundamental duties are to be performed by all citizens of India.